Good morning. Welcome to day 16 of the One Year Bible. We are reading it together as a church, and I am Cammie Barker. I work at Gold Creek Community Church. I'm the logistics director at Mill Creek campus, and this is my good friend, Jen Olson. Tell us about you.
Hi, I'm Jen Olson. I've been going to Gold Creek for about 7 years.
I think you did.
I do have a blended family. My husband attends with me, as well as my 2 teenage children, and we also have 3 adult children coming from
Yes, you do, and you're involved in a bunch of Connect groups.
Connect groups, yes.
Kids and adults, and she covers for me. When I go out on vacation, she takes the lead on logistics and tells people where they need to be and what they need to be doing. So
with really big shoes to fill.
No. Anyways, we are here to talk about Genesis. We are in chapter, actually, I didn't write that down.
Genesis 32.
Thank you. See, that's why I have you. You got my back. Genesis 32. And, but I know what the story is. It's all about Jacob and Esau. Jacob has left, which you read about in previous days. He's out of town. He's coming back into town. Hasn't seen Esau yet. They had a bit of a falling out. They're estranged. And this really stood out to me. I've got some estranged family members, sadly. I don't think you do.
I don't. I'm very thankful. My family, we're all
that's awesome.
Super close.
I don't think that I'm the only one. I think there are people. It is, families are hard, relationships are hard. And I guess I just love the hug. Jacob and Esau have this reconciliation. It's quite the process that they go through. That Jacob kind of presents himself and his family to Esau. And it's a beautiful thing where they reconcile, they have a hug, and they love each other, and it's obvious. And I don't know, that really stood out to me, but more stood out to you.
Yeah.
Tell me about
Well,
you.
I think because my family is so close, there was a lot that stood out to me in this. To me, I see how important family is to Jacob.
Yes.
You know, he was very methodical in the way he set up this overly generous
animals, hundreds
gifts.
and hundreds of animals.
Yeah. I mean, and then it was very methodical in the way he staged them. And even his own family, when he finally met up with Esau, they're staged in a specific way. And I think that's because he is so, he wants to ensure that he gets that,
that relationship back.
Reuniting. That's the right word. Reuniting with his brother and building that relationship again.
Absolutely. And then the next chapters, there's 2 more chapters in Genesis, and it continues talking about Jacob, and he still is putting family first. There's a terrible thing happens to his daughter. Dinah is raped, and the family comes together, and I think we decided it's pretty much revenge. They're seeking revenge, but they're working together, and it's they're protecting family and putting that first. And,
Yeah, agreed.
Then we go into Matthew 11 in the New Testament reading today. And I learned something that I wanted to share. I shared with you earlier.
Very cool.
So there's this one verse, and I'm tracking with it. It's talking about John and Jesus's ministry, John the Baptist and Jesus, and how they're both ministering. And it says in verse 18, for John didn't spend, and I'm reading on my phone. Sorry, I'll hold it up so everyone can see what I'm doing. For John didn't spend his time eating and drinking, and you say he's possessed by a demon. And then it says the Son of Man, on the other hand, feasts and drinks, and you say he's a glutton and a drunkard and a friend of tax collectors and other sinners. But this is what it ends with. But wisdom is shown to be right by its results. And I read that over and over, and I could not make it click in my head. I was like, what are they trying to say with that? And I'm tracking so far, but this got me. So I learned something. You highlight it. If you're reading on the YouVersion app, you highlight it, and down at the bottom, it shows where you can highlight it in different colors, and it gives you a bunch of options: share, image, and then it says compare. And if you click on compare, it gives you different versions of that verse. And I love this because I like the message. What's your favorite version of the Bible? Do you read the message?
I usually use NIV, but I've been, well, now I'm going to use this compare feature now, but I'm always going at the top, clicking the different versions.
Right.
And I did the same thing on this one because there's a lot of it that I didn't quite get. So
it's awesome to have that one verse come up in the different versions. So it says, John came fasting and they called him crazy. I came feasting and they called me lush, a friend of the riffraff. And that's right why I read the message, is because it says things like riffraff, right?
And a lot of pudding.
Right. Well, that's what I'm getting to.
Right?
Opinion polls don't count for much, do they? The proof of the pudding is in the eating. And for some reason that clicked with me more than the other version.
We like pudding, that's why.
But wisdom is shown to be right by its results. So between the two, I could finally put it together that ministry is judged by its results, that people are being healed both in John's and in Jesus's ministry, and people are walking in faith. And that gives the result of the ministry. So proof is in the pudding. Proof is in the pudding. See, you got it. The next verse that stood out to me, was Matthew 28. And it kind of was just exactly what I needed to hear in my soul. It says, then Jesus said, come to me, all of you who are weary and carry heavy burdens, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you. Let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and the burden I give you is light. For me, the whole rest, I keep thinking, COVID's been all around for almost a year now. And as we stay away from people, as we try to stay home more, as we try to keep ourselves healthy between flu and everything else, shouldn't we all be caught up in our naps?
You would think.
But I am tired. I don't know about you, but I could use a little rest. And this kind of just settled in my soul and made me happy. You had something else that you pointed out, though.
Yeah. I think the word yoke, I don't know why that always gets me, but, I found it interesting how he's talking about how easy it is to come to him. Yeah. I'll share the burden with you. I'll share the work with you. Just come to me. It's easy. Yeah. So I found that interesting.
Right. So when I think of yoke, I think of work. It's the whole oxen thing. You're carrying this burden. It is heavy work. But if you do the work, it says, let me teach you, because I am humble and gentle at heart, and you will find rest for your souls. So if you do the work, you get the rest.
And you get the rest.
I get the rest.
So I guess we got to do the work.
I know. Let's do the work. All right. So we move on to the next reading, which we still have Psalms and we still have Proverbs today. So tell me about nothing really stood out to me in Psalms. She has a major one. What talk about it.
So the verse talks about God looking down from heaven onto the earth and trying to see if anybody's still seeking him and looking to him, right? Yes. And I just think about, this last year has been full of election stuff and social media and COVID and, all these things where we're not getting rest because we're like emotionally drained, right? And I just feel like even if he looked down at us right now, he might think the same thing.
I agree.
Even of us Christians, that we're full of fear.
Yeah.
We're getting fed all of this stuff, and he might still be looking down at us, that we're walking away from him rather than looking to him for peace.
I agree. So how does it end? How does that verse end?
Oh, yeah. So at the very end, the great news, sorry. It says, when the Lord restores his people, let Jacob rejoice and Israel be glad. So, that just really, at the very end of that, when I read that, I just prayed for our country and our restoration. So.
Absolutely. I love it. I love that is what spoke to you. All right. So then in Proverbs, this made me think of our kids. It says, it's Proverbs 3:19. By wisdom, the Lord founded the earth. Back up. By wisdom, the Lord founded the earth. By understanding, he created the heavens. By his knowledge, the deep fountains of the earth burst forth, and the dew settles beneath the night sky. Wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Yep. What are our kids doing every day? They're getting on their Zoom classes. They're getting into their education, and they're learning and trying to get that wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. And here you are on day 16 in your 1-year Bible, and you are seeking to do the same thing. And it's important. Learning and being a student is super important to our God. He puts it many times in the Bible, and I just think that it's emphasized right there. So,
yeah, I totally agree.
All right. So if you like what you're watching and hearing, I encourage you, share, subscribe, and share it with your friends.
Share with friends.
Yeah. Share the Bible reading app and share the reading plan and get your friends on board, because this is a good habit to have in place. And let's go to day 21. We're almost there.
For sure.
All right. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you on Sunday. See ya.